Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about heart failure, and this is a really fascinating one. It's a condition where the body, trying to save itself, actually starts to make things a whole lot worse. It's like your own survival instincts have turned against you, and we're going to get into how modern medicine is learning to outsmart them.
Think about that for a second. It's a pretty wild idea, right? When your heart starts to struggle, your body sounds this massive internal alarm. But what happens when that alarm system, the very thing designed to protect you, becomes part of the problem itself? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
Okay, so to really understand the treatments, we first have to wrap our heads around the core problem. And it's not just that the heart's pump is weak. No, it's the chain reaction, this domino effect, that follows.
So here's how it goes down. It all starts when the heart's output dips. Your body senses this and, it panics. It hits the big red emergency button, flooding your system with stress hormones. Now, these hormones do two things. They squeeze your blood vessels tight and they force your body to hang on to salt and water, all in a desperate attempt to jack up the blood pressure. Now, in a quick crisis, like if you're bleeding, this is a great plan. But with heart failure, it's what we call a maladaptive response. It puts this crushing, long-term strain back on the very heart it's trying to save, creating this awful, vicious downward cycle.
Right, so if the body's over-the-top reaction is a huge part of the problem, then the solution has to be a direct counter-strategy. We need something designed specifically to interrupt that panic signal and, calm that internal storm.
And this, right here, is a really fundamental shift in how we think about this disease. We're moving way beyond just managing the symptoms, like the fluid buildup. The real goal now is to actively block those harmful hormonal pathways that are driving the whole process. And by doing that, these therapies can improve symptoms, for sure, but they also drastically reduce hospital trips. And most importantly, they help people live longer.
For the most common type of heart failure, the one where the heart's pumping ability is actually reduced, which doctors call HFEF, the modern strategy is built on something called quadruple therapy. And it's exactly what it sounds like. 4 different classes of medication, all working together, each one tackling that vicious cycle from a slightly different angle.
So let's look at the team. Each of these 4 pillars goes after a different part of that cycle we just talked about. You've got ARNIs, which block those harmful stress signals. Then there are beta blockers, which basically shield the heart from being overworked by adrenaline. After that, you've got MRAs, which block a very specific hormone called aldosterone that causes fluid retention and scarring. And finally, the SGLT2 inhibitors, which help the kidneys get rid of extra fluid and sugar. You put them all together, and you've got this incredible multi-pronged defense system for the heart.
Now, it's cool to see how this strategy has actually evolved. ACE inhibitors, they were the original game changer, the first class of drugs that was proven to help people live longer. But now, for a lot of patients, the more advanced ARNI class is the first choice because it just gives you more bang for your buck by blocking that harmful system in an even more complete way.
I love this analogy because it's just perfect. In heart failure, the body is basically screaming at the heart to sprint, 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 just flooding it with all these adrenaline-like hormones. But a weakened heart can't keep up that pace. It leads to burnout and more damage. Beta blockers step in and turn the volume down on that signal. They tell the heart, hey, forget the sprint, let's run a nice, steady marathon instead. This protects it and lets it work way more efficiently for the long haul.
So, those 4 pillars we talked about, they're all about the long game, about improving survival. But beyond them, there's another group of medications that play a super important supporting role, especially when it comes to managing the day-to-day symptoms that people actually feel.
Diuretics, or what a lot of people call water pills, are the absolute workhorses here. Their main job is to relieve congestion, that awful feeling of fluid buildup and being short of breath. Now, it's really important to get this. They don't improve survival like the 4 pillars do, but they are absolutely essential for helping people feel better and stay out of the hospital.
Okay, so here's a specific challenge. What happens when, even with all the best therapy on board, a patient's heart rate stays stubbornly high? Over time, that constant high speed, it puts a ton of extra strain on a heart that's already working way too hard.
Well, for this exact problem, there's a specialized drug called ivabradine. And it's pretty neat. It works by slowing down the heart's own natural pacemaker, but without messing with blood pressure. And the results, they're pretty significant. The Big Shift trial showed it led to a 26% drop in hospitalizations for the patients who needed it. That's a huge deal.
So it becomes pretty clear that a truly effective plan has to be personalized, and it goes way, way beyond just what happens at the pharmacy counter.
A good treatment plan is definitely not one size fits all. For HFEF, that weak pump we talked about, the 4 pillars are the absolute foundation.
But for something like HFpEF, where the heart muscle is stiff but the pump isn't necessarily weak, the focus shifts. There, it's much more about controlling symptoms with diuretics and really aggressively managing all the other stuff that makes the heart stiff, like high blood pressure and diabetes.
And this slide, this really gets to the heart of it. The patient is, without a doubt, the most important member of the care team. I mean, daily actions like checking your weight for fluid changes, watching your salt, staying active, those things are just as powerful and just as vital to success as any medication. It's got to be a true partnership.
So, ultimately, when you really think about it, understanding the why you're taking this pill, why you're checking your weight every day, that's what transforms a confusing list of tasks into a cohesive, life-saving strategy. It's what empowers you to become a true partner with your healthcare team so you can manage this condition and live your best life.